Hello students, welcome to KANISHKA IAS. We are starting an initiative where we will try to decode the concepts through PYQs under the banner of Prelims Focus. So this video is pertaining to polity and governance. Why we are interested to decode PYQs and especially the concepts underlying the PYQs? Why? Because the examiner is asking various questions across the years, but the underlying concept is same. The conceptual aspect is same, but the questions are asked in a different manner. For example, many questions or multiple times the question has been asked on right to privacy. The questions have been asked on due process of law and procedure established by law. So hence, when we understand the subject in proper manner, it will be very easy to identify the right answer. Especially, we are starting our discussion through 2017 preliminary questions on polity and governance. Coming to the first question, democracy is a superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity. So there are four options given, A, B, C and D. First one is the intelligence and character of ordinary men and women, the methods for strengthening executive leadership, the superior individual with dynamism and vision, a band of dedicated party workers. So a student who is not having the sufficient understanding of democracy may think that every option is correct. More specifically, options are looking to be correct individually, but aspirant to choose the relatively right answer. Okay. So the fundamental concept, the fundamental idea behind this question is the meaning and essence of the democracy. Then coming to what is democracy? Democracy means a system of government where power is vested with the people who exercise it directly or through elected representatives. For example, in India, people choose their representatives and these representatives will be having the control or supervision on the governance. People are not the decision makers on themselves. Rather, the public representatives at the union level in the form of members of parliament, at the state level in the form of members of legislative assembly and legislative council, they will be exercising the control over the executive or government. In other words, the democracy is all about the power is vested in the people. Thereafter, we require to understand what are the differences between direct democracy and indirect democracy. In the direct democracy, executive is elected directly, whereas in the indirect democracy, executive is elected indirectly. In the direct democracy, the people will directly choose their ruler, whereas in the indirect democracy, people will choose their representatives and those representatives will be facilitating the election of the ruler of the country or executive of the country. For example, in America, we have indirect democracy, where people will elect the electoral college and that electoral college will be electing the president of America. In India also, president, prime minister and council of ministers are not directly elected, they are indirectly elected. So, and moreover, if we come to accountability, citizens hold direct accountability in the direct democracy because they will be having the tools like plebiscite, referendum, initiative, okay, those kind of tools, even recall also, helping the executive or making the executive to be directly accountable to the people. On the other hand, in the indirect democracy, leaders are accountable through elected representatives and as well as governance checks. Okay, governance checks means we can see the Right to Information Act, citizen charters, as well as social audit. So because of these tools also, the government is accountable. The complexity of the government mechanism, if we try to look at in the direct democracy, it is very high. Why? Because every government policy will be reaching to the people and people must be able to identify the consequences of the policy. So that makes the entire process very difficult. Whereas in the indirect democracy, that work is done by the leaders elected by the people or representatives chosen by the people. So that definitely helps. Moreover, the decision making speed in the direct democracy, if you consider, it is very slow. Whereas in the indirect democracy, the decision making speed is very much high. Why? Because there the decision makers are huge in number because all the people are given the choice to decide the policy. Whereas in the indirect democracy, only few public representatives, only the majority requirement is sufficient. So hence the decision making will be very much faster in the indirect democracy. Moreover, if we try to look at the working of the democracy can be of procedural and substantive. Procedural democracy means formal democratic procedures are generally observed. For example, if you want to call Pakistan to be democratic or not, you will be looking at procedural aspects, whether elections are being conducted on a periodical manner or not, whether rule of law is there or not, whether the institutional arrangement is there or not. Similarly, whether is there any separation of powers or not. So these are all procedural aspects. These are all formal democratic procedures. Okay. On the other hand, the substantive democracy means the democracy's success is measured in terms of its actual outcomes, and it emphasizes upon welfare of the people, social justice, and also rights of the people. Moreover, this substantive democracy goes beyond just elections. So merely elections are there, it cannot qualify any country to be democratic country. Moreover, the democracy, if it is to be functional, there is a requirement of procedural aspects of democracy and substantive aspects of democracy. In order to make the democracy successful, definitely public participation is very important. Okay, so the public participation requires intelligence and character of the citizens. If people are very intelligent, if the people are having the sound value system, definitely the laws will also be having those values, and the implementation will also be protecting the society and also helps in the progress of the society in the forward direction. Moreover, it is also based on the principle of people's participation. The vibrancy of the democracy can be observed only when the people are interested to participate. People must not be passive agents in the democracy, rather they must be active citizens. They must be able to control the government, they must be able to demand the government for the better quality of services and better quality of life. Moreover, the democracy relies on wisdom of masses to choose the best course of action. So it does not specially depend upon some authoritarian ruler or some elites in the country. Rather, the wisdom of masses is to be considered as a paramount thing. So that is what the value system promoted by the democracy. After understanding all these concepts, it is very easy to identify the answer. Look at these points again. A band of dedicated party workers. Okay. Is it true? No. Basically, democracy is a superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into action or it calls into activity. Not a band of dedicated party workers. Rather, we have to have people's participation, not just a band of party workers. Moreover, a superior individual with dynamism and vision. Is it so? No. It is not about an individual's quality, rather it is a requirement of the whole masses or the people of the country. The methods for strengthening executive leadership. In fact, democracy does not try to strengthen one individual's power, because it may lead to majority of tyranny. So that is not the essence of democracy. Hence, these three options are incorrect. So certainly, what is the right option? Intelligence and character of the ordinary men and women. Because democracy believes in the people. Especially in the context of India, Indian constitution sources its powers from the people of the country. If you try to look at the constitutional morality, especially which is identified in preamble, fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy, it is really clarified that the people of the country is the soul of the Indian democracy. The preamble openly declares, we the people of India solemnly resolve to declare India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. So hence the right answer is A. For more videos, please follow KANISHKA IAS.